Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the Children of Mandalore, myself versus my son. And we're showing you a quick speed through of all the setup and everything else. My son is going to be the aggressor in this scenario, and I will be the protector. This is the Beskar Recovery Scenario in the organized play kit for the Children of Mandalore. I was able to get my hands on one, and we're just going to go ahead and share with you what it looks like and everything else. Now, you will see the three markers, one at center and then the other two kind of spinning in a diagonal from, or range 2 out from center. Now, in which case you see that we go ahead and see that the obstacles are being set up. It's still the same number of obstacles, still the same rules for obstacles. And what I will tell you is the Beskar Recovery kind of reminds me of the scenario of Salvage Mission, where you have to pick up the cash or the Beskar armor there, and then you are going to go ahead and tow it behind you, just like the Salvage Mission. And then if you get hit with a crit, then you have to jettison it or, drop it like we normally do in Salvage Mission. The only difference is that there's a lot of Mandalorian ships on the table at this point in time. So we're going ahead and getting everything set up. And now it looks like it's time for round 1. So welcome to our channel. My call sign is BatMando. And it appears that in round 1, I am first player. So now, which case, we have a couple of condition cards being assigned. So you have the Tradition of Peace and the Tradition of War. They have to be assigned to a generic pilot. In other words, like a non-limited pilot. So, and then the markers will follow the ships throughout the rest of the game. So, these particular ships are going to get extra points if they have the Beskar with them. And as you can see, Mean Martian is moving Rook cast forward 3. And then we will see what I am doing at this point in time. So, it appears that Joy is going to be moving 2 forward. And then Mean Martian apparently forgot to take his focus, but it's a casual game, so we'll allow it. Joy is going to go ahead and take that boost and the red focus that's linked to it, and we'll see where we go from there. Then you see that I have my Skull Squadron pilot moving 2 forward, and then most likely taking a focus, but oh wait, no, sorry, I performed a boost on that one, but I decided not to take a focus on that. So anyhow, again, my call sign is BatMando. Welcome to our channel. And right now, we thought we would show off a scenario with some ships that you don't normally see a lot of on certain channels, such as the Gauntlet up there with on my son's side, as in Mean Martian's side, the right side top there. And then you may see in the top left there the Razor Crest, and yes, it will be the Mandalorian, also known as Din Djarin, going ahead and making a full stop. Yes, that ship can do that. So he will be stressed, but he is there waiting for the next move. Old Tarok moving 2 forward at this point in time, and probably going to be taking a focus just like his Skull Squadron pilot did just before him. I will also tell you up at the top, even though it's really hard to see, you will see that there is a Mandalorian Royal Guard in the shadow of the Gauntlet, and that Mandalorian Royal Guard has a special ability where he can go ahead and take away some of the attention from larger bases. So now, no shots in the first round. I know some of our experienced players are a little bit shocked, and apparently I am still first player in this particular second round. And we'll just go ahead and keep on moving. So, Mean Martian is going to go ahead and take Rook cast and move them towards center. We had a couple of questions that came up, and then he went ahead and attempted to see if he could grab that Beskar, and he does. So now we put a marker down to show that he does actually have the Beskar on his ship in tow. So now we go ahead and move forward with some of our other ships. Joy taking a 2-bank left turn there, and as you can see, that's probably not the best spot for me to be in. So one thing you gotta love about the things, they can go ahead and perform a barrel roll and take a red focus and still be dangerous. So in which case, trying to figure out if I was going to go ahead and put it at normal or forward. That gas cloud prevented me from going all the way back, but I probably didn't want to move back because I don't want to deal with a range 1 shot from the gauntlet. Now, as you can see in the center of your screen, I made a error in judgment of the space there and landed on a gas cloud. Therefore, I'm going to be taking a strain, and when I roll, I end up getting a ion token as well. So, not looking good at this point in time. I wanted to go ahead and talk about this love-hate relationship that I have with Fang fighters. You'll never see me fly one at tournaments, mostly because, as you will see in this video, and sorry for spoilers, but the Fangs and I, when it comes to things needing to be in the clutch, Fangs and I just don't apparently have a working relationship. Now, as you can see, Skull Squadron has just taken another Beskar, so that's going to put him with 2 points, actually 3 points now that I think about it, because he gets an extra point every time he has one. So the Mandalorian guard is going to be taking a 3 bank left, keeping up with his gauntlet that he's, kind of protecting, for the lack of a better word, or escorting. Mandalorian moving forward 3, and then I'm going to go ahead and take that Beskar before he ends up having all 3 of them. Now, in which case, we're going through the motions still, and as you can see, we're waiting for Old T to move, then we'll wait for Fen Rao to move, and then we'll get to shots. So I will tell you, this is a very interesting scenario because, well, you have a whole bunch of things, so it's not like you have some very heavily fortified ships doing this. Old T making or taking a focus at that point in time. So Fen Rao is going to go ahead and do what Fen Rao does, and that is move at a 2 bank, clearing any stress if there was any, and then the decision of what do we do. So, do I boost forward? Do I go ahead and stay at range 3? So I'm only going to take the focus on this one because I want the range 3 shot or a range 2 shot, but I don't want to have 2 range 2 shots back at me if I boosted forward. Speaking of forward, I'm looking forward to the June 27th through June 30th here in Dallas, Texas for the Rebel Scum conventions. So check it out, ladies and gentlemen. Go to the website, get your tickets. It's going to be a lot of Star Wars celebrities there, so come on by, get some things signed, and check it out. So we went ahead and had to figure out what was going on with this particular attack, and it's Fen Rao hitting Old Terrock for a hit. We were checking out some of the Beskar plating in the front and seeing how those particular rules affected the shots that we have there. All right, moving right along. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching, but please make certain to subscribe to our future transmissions. Click like on the videos that you like. That way we know what more videos to create, and help me help other people get to be better pilots by some of the content that we put out here. So we very much appreciate everything you do, but please make certain to click like and subscribe and tell your friends about us. We very much appreciate it. All right, so now, in which case we're going to all the other things that are going on right now, and apparently the Mandalorian hits Rookcast for a shield, but that's mostly because the Mandalorian Royal Guard took a strain and a deplete in order to change one of the defense die results into an evade. So that is something very useful when you are dealing with a non-small ship with the Mandalorian Royal Guard right next to it. So that seems pretty cool. All right, so we're going to go ahead and continue on with our other attacks. And waiting for it. So Old T taking a range 3 shot into so there it goes, ladies and gentlemen. This is the beginning of my love-hate relationship. Now, granted, I didn't have to spend the focus when I attacked, but the fact that I just rolled 4 defense dice and was not able to get any evades is just the thing that happens. Now, some people will go ahead and say, hey, it's a dice game. Yes, it's a dice game, and probability would dictate that should not have happened. So, Anyway, we're going ahead and moving forward at this point in time. Again, my love and hate relationship with Fang fighters. Love to fly them, would love to fly them at tournaments, but they always fail me when it comes to being in the clutch, as you saw right there. Okay, so Joy Rekoff was able to go ahead and hit the Royal Guard for 2 damage, so that's pretty good. And then we're moving forward to see where we stand with our next 4, which is going to be me, Martian, firing at Fen Rao, and me hoping that it's actually going to hold, because all he needs is 1 hit. Alright, so the Skull Squadron pilot misses Fen Rao. He lives to fight another round, which is very fortunate for me, because I don't need to lose that many points at the beginning of this game. So, looks like we have a attack from Rook Cast into my Skull Squadron pilot. We're double checking a couple of details, as you can see right there, by looking at the cards. And now we're off to seeing what all is happening. So, apparently I get a hit and a damage engine. So, now Mean Martian has 3, and I only have 1. Which, that may be an incorrect score now that I think about it. No, it is a correct score, because he gets 2 for the Beskar that is on the Skull Squadron, and then he gets 1 for the Beskar on Rook Cast. My apologies, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we're already in round 3, starting off with our movement, and Joy is going to be taking a hard turn right, and you can see that I'm right in the path of his Mandalorian Royal Guard. So the question is, what is it I'm going to do? Because I can't really boost, and I want to be some interference for his Mandalorian Royal Guard. So I'm going to go ahead and take a barrel roll, and then take the focus. And I know this is going to put me in a very precarious position, and this is kind of a little bit where you see some people get tilted, or in my case, I say, you see me go red. That's all I'm seeing at this point in time, just seeing red. Okay, so you just saw that I took a ion maneuver with my Skull Squadron pilot. We're going to go ahead and take the focus, because that's the only option that you have after a ion maneuver such as this. So Mandalorian Royal Guard is going to go ahead and move 2 forward, but guess what, ladies and gentlemen? With everything being where it is, it's going to be, wait for it, yep, it's a bump, ladies and gentlemen. So, Mean Martian gets a bump right there. That means that if he does decide to shoot at Joy Rekoff, that Joy is going to be at range 0. Mandalorian Royal Guard is going to take a red focus there. And now we move on to his other 4 on the other side of the mat, closest to us. He is going to go ahead and move forward with Skull Squadron pilot. He decides to go ahead and do a 4 forward. That kind of let me, or that kind of threw me at that point in time, because I thought he was going to go ahead and engage. So we had a discussion about this later, but for those of you trying to kind of figure out the strategy here, he's left himself in a position where now he only has 2 ways to go, and that is either he does a 1 hard and tries to get past that debris next round, or he's going to have to do some kind of bigger turn maneuver, and then he's going to find himself right in front of the gauntlet, which is really hard to fly past. Either way, we need to talk about what's going on the other side. Mandalorian just taking a focus right there after doing a 1 bank. Old Tarok is now taking a 3 bank, coming on into where the action is. So he's going to go ahead and take a focus. I was a little bit surprised that he decided to not take a boost. So now, with my position being where Old Tarok is and Fen Rao, I'm going to go ahead and take a boost and do a red focus, because I was pretty certain that I was not going to be in his front arc, but I did not want to stick around to find out otherwise. So now we're going ahead, taking a look at the laser to see if I have arc on the gauntlet, and the gauntlet is very difficult to deal with on Oh, and it looks like it's going to be a range 2 shot, or it could be a range 2 shot over at the Mandalorian Royal Guard. Now, the gauntlet can be a little bit difficult to move around, and you're going to see later in this video that it gets bumped way too easily because of its size. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, he spends his focus, and Fenn Rau misses the Mandalorian Royal Guard altogether. So, was trying to get some more damage on that ship to hopefully take him out, but now we have to go to the Mandalorian, who has a range 1 attack on a depleted ship there, and the Mandalorian kills the Royal Guard. So, in which case, we're going to go ahead and remove the Mandalorian Royal Guard from play. That at least gives me some points when we get to that point. So, and then we take a look at, does Old T have anything in arc? And he does not. So, and neither does the Skull Squadron pilot, and neither does mine for that matter. So, Joy, I believe, is where we're going next for the shot. So, range 1 shot, and I went ahead and popped the charge to make it so that all he has was 1 defense die, and Rook cast taking 2 damage, but neither one of them a crit. So, that is an issue at times. So, we still see that Rook has the Beskar and shooting out the back range 1. And my dice being what my dice are, takes 3 damage right there. So, now, again, seeing red at this point in time. Going into the next score, we are tied, and round 4, Mean Martian becomes the first player. Again, ladies and gentlemen, if you are kind of on the fence of going to see Rebel Scum conventions, check out the website and see who all they have coming, because it's going to be a very interesting and intriguing event, and plenty of opportunity for you to get people to sign whatever memorabilia, or just flat out meet them. So, in which case, we are now moving forward. We have Skull Squadron pilot that was doing the 1 hard turn right. That really was one of the only 2 options that he had at that point in time, in my opinion. So if you have other opinions, feel free to leave a comment for us so that we can go ahead and see what you would have done in that situation. So, Skull Squadron taking a focus, and then my Skull Squadron is going to go ahead and perform a 2 Talon right. So you can see I'm getting this one back into the action. Not going to have any focus or anything to go ahead and have to modify, but at least he's going to have the ability to possibly take a shot. So, Joy is going ahead and moving 3 forward. Joy kind of limping at this point in time because of the amount of damage done to Joy. Now, as I said, we were seeing red at some point in time. Some of you may have noticed that I took 3 damage. I should have only taken 2 because of Concord face-off. Or Concordia face-off. So, some of the things that you see in the videos are not entirely up to the correct speed. I do apologize for that. I didn't notice it until we were doing the editing right now. So, in which case, moving on, Old T is going to go ahead and take a focus. Question is who is he going to focus on when he does this, get to his turn to shoot? Mandalorian was trying to do a 2 hard right, but I am definitely going to have a bump right there. That's right, there's the bump. So, and after the bump, I'm going to go ahead and take a red focus, because I don't have to shoot range 0 at Rook cast, but I can shoot at a different target and still use that focus. Now, let's go ahead and see where we are going next. So, Fenn Rau going ahead and, well, we have to mark the ships to get out of the way. Then Fenn Rau going for a 2 hard turn left, and yes, ladies and gentlemen, there's the bump. So, bump right into Rook cast. Apparently, Rook cast's ship may be, possibly tremoring at this point in time, or trying to figure out why are we getting hit from both sides. Fenn Rau is going to take that red focus because it's time for shots, and we got to see if anybody's going to be shooting at him because of that Skull Squadron pilot near the center of your screen. All right, so Fen Round hits Rook for 1 damage. And now we're looking at Old T's shot because Mean Martian is first player this round. So we go ahead and see that he's spending his focus to make everything happen. And Old Tarok has killed Joy. So it's embarrassing when I fly things, and as you can see, the continued love-hate relationship that I have with them. Which is kind of funny since my call sign is BatMando. Anyhow, let's go ahead and move on. So, looks like we're re-examining a couple of things here. Alright, so Mandalorian delivering 2 crits and dislodging the Beskar onto the field at this point in time. Rookcast is going to have a fuel leak and then a console fire. So with the fuel leak, another damage is dealt down because the console fire went out as well. So not only does Rookcast not have any more shields, the console fire and the fuel leak, well, the fuel leak is now dealt with because there was already a damage hit there. So now we're moving right along to who is going to be our next person to shoot, or still actually settling on where is the Beskar supposed to go. It says at range 1, so it has been dropped at this point in time, but we're kind of fuzzy on the rules of within range 1 or at range 1. So we went with the literal at range 1. If somebody knows that this is not the way how to do it, drop it in the comments and let us know. Next time we do a scenario like this, we will make certain not to make that mistake again. Alright, so me rolling defense and spending focus. Skull Squadron pilot misses Fen Rao, thankfully. So, still a little bit upset with my defense dice because they're still performing poorly, but then again, I'm flying things. So now it looks like my Skull Squadron pilot is going to go ahead and take on Old T, and apparently not a result that was worth even rolling defense dice. So I miss Old T altogether, and just go to show that my dice are doing what dice do. Alright, so for those of you who are new players, yes, dice are dice. That's all I can say on that one. So, Mean Martian is taking the damage from console fire with Rook cast there. So, that's what happens when you are supposed to engage. There goes the possibility of taking the damage, and he took one. So, now we're seeing what Rook cast is doing for a shot. And Rookcast misses the Mandalorian because range 0 attack, can't do any mods, and it looks like it is on to our next round. The score is Mean Martian in the lead with 12 and I trailing with 7. We are now going into round 5 where Mean Martian is still the first player at that point in time. So, Skull Squadron my Skull Squadron is going to lock a target with Mandalorian optics. Because I had to charge for it, and I better use it so that I can get some kind of advantage for it. Now, we'll see how that all goes here in just a little bit. We're actually reading over the Mandalorian optics to make certain that we're using them properly. So, now, we're going to go ahead and move forward with Rook cast here in a second. Oh, wait, no, he's doing something that I forgot to mention. He has this crazy thing called the Super Commandos. That's what we were looking at, checking all the rules and making certain that we're dropping the Super Commandos correctly. So he went ahead and dropped them out the back at an angle towards the top of your screen, and those landed right under the Mandalorian. And while I am on top of it, they go ahead and give me a strain. Automatic. So there goes the strain token down there. These things are really nasty. As you can see right there, I'm moving the gauntlet's base back because it wiggles a little bit too easy. I don't know if it's just because of the weight up top or what's going on, or if I had a bent large base, but it just moved a little bit too easily every time we were too close to it. You'll see it later in this video as well. All right, so now Mandalorian is going to use Overtuned Modulator to gain 3 Calculate tokens because I expect that I'm going to be hit from a lot of different ships this time around. So may as well have the Calculates to back it up. All right, so Mean Martian is again first player, and we're going to see how all this is going to transpire with all the activity there in the middle. Rookcast and the Gauntlet being a very huge base. Well, not huge, but as in epic, but as in, you know, it's a big base ship, and you got to see where that base is going to end up, because that's going to mess with all of your movement at that point in time. So now we have to actually move the Super Commandos. So that's where it was already dropped. You see that it's now going to move forward 2, and just so happens to land just right under Fen Rao. And Fen Rao is now going to be strained because they are underneath that base. As you can see, a whole bunch of movement or bumping and everything else going on there. We take out the 2 forward or 2 straight template, sorry, and we're still trying to go ahead and get everything where it's supposed to be. So now it's finally time for Rookcast to make the movement, and Rookcast is going to go ahead and move 4 forward. Now you need to remember that they were already stressed, and now just sitting there at this point in time, can't take any actions, and we are now going ahead and moving on to Skull Squadron Pilot, moving 3 forward, which I thought was going to be a bad idea, but apparently he just put it perfectly down. So way to go, Mean Martian. So apparently he was able to do what I was not able to do earlier by completely clearing the obstacle and taking the focus. So we now know that I'm moving with mine, taking a 2 bank turn right, and that's going to put me smack dab in front of Old T. So the decision, what do? I go ahead and move the lock on over to the other Skull Squadron pilots that Mean Martian has flying there, trying to dislodge the Beskar from that particular ship. We'll see if that works. Now we're going to go ahead and use some geometry here to get Old T to go 2 hard turn left. And now Old T taking the focus so that we are ready to see what modifications he makes. Now, I forgot order of operations apparently, and I was attempting to move 1 forward, but I am definitely going to be hitting Fen Rao at that point in time, so bumping my own ship. We were doing a double check of where he was going to end up, and right there's the bump. So did not clear. I thought I had the position, or simply thought that Fen Rao was going to be out of the way at that point in time. I do have the 3 calculates there, and I am showing Mean Martian all the shots that I'm anticipating receiving. And there it is. That ship is big, and it gets bumped. As a matter of fact, you saw that it bumps the debris field at that point in time, and bumped again. So be careful with that ship. I can see why there may be some frustration when people are flying that, because it's just so tall, so big, and it can be bumped at any point in time, moving everything around. So my apologies, ladies and gentlemen, for that. Now, Fen Rao is going to go ahead and perform a boost and red focus, running for his life at this point in time, because he can see that he's going to be possibly shot at by Rook Cast, or even possibly shot at by the Skull Squadron pilot, so get out of at least one arc there. And you can see Fenrir doesn't have a shot this time, so we go with Old T, automatically spinning the focus and getting all that he can out of a range 1 attack. And after everything was said, oh, we were having him check for the green, but apparently he is just out of my arc, which is necessary for him to strip that. Now, speaking of stripping things off, there goes my shields, and the Mandalorian just received a weapons failure card as well. So this is not looking all that great right now for my side. We're trying to protect it, but these aggressors are, well, really aggressive. Yeah, that's right. Terrible dad joke. You're welcome. Hashtag dad jokes. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and see that Mandalorian is going to take a shot into Skull Squadron pilot, or is it going to be Rook Cast? The temptation, the figuring out, and we're going to end up going into Skull Squadron pilot instead. So there we go, and you can see that a focus was spent, so I was able to hit Skull Squadron pilot for 1, but not enough to kill. Alright, in which case now we're going to go ahead and have my so Mean Martian is about to have his shot, and he is going against Fenrir, and Fenrir is dead. I had a focus to spend, but no way to spend it, and therefore Fenrir has been removed, further illustrating my love-hate relationship with things. And with the death of Fenrir, it is now basically secure that Mean Martian is going to win this at the end of the round, unless there is some way for me to dislodge Beskar from the Skull Squadron pilot. So we're going to spend that lock, and we try to get, or we got 3, and of course there is a focus spent, and he evades all 3. No chance of that Beskar being dislodged, and Mean Martian has essentially won the game. Of course, we still have to go through the rest of the motions at this point in time. So as you can see, we're going to check, and what do you know? Another console fire damage to Rook Cast. Rook Cast has a total of 7 damage out of the 9 possible on that ship. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Children of Mandalore scenario, and using the Beskar Recovery. Still a fun game, still a lot of things out there, and we're going to go ahead and see how Skull Squadron pilot, or I'm sorry, Rook Cast gets with Mandalorian, and I dodge all those shots. Thank you for watching. Come back and see another edition of another video. Mean Martian with a great victory, and as always, BatMando out.